All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to I'll name the segment later. GTG spits that grease, so on and so forth. Title forever in the works. Doing this in batches, if you will. So if you guys have made any recommendations for a title, if you will, or to sponsor one of these, by all means, they will eventually get into these moving forward. But I appreciate everybody who's laid something down so far, and they will make it in. They will, unless for some reason they got missed. But I doubt that'll be a thing. So big ups on that. So if the title hasn't given me away yet, DSP speaks on the biggest goal or goals he has for 2026 and what he's hoping to achieve, as well as detractors misrepresent his content. Now, as it pertains to goals for 2026, I mean, the fact that he has any shouldn't surprise anybody, but I would guess that he's really looking for another big collaboration. He's looking for another stimulus package, whatever. I'm also starting to getting into the groove of him looking to try to make amends with Kino Casino in some way, shape, or form. He'll more than likely go through Andy if he does do that, or even try to make amends with side scrollers. Now I know this sounds crazy, because it is crazy, but he will run back to one of those two entities or groups before he takes lolcow. But he's gonna need a big stimulus by the end of the year. You know what I'm saying? I'm currently recording, sorry, in May. I'm currently recording this in May of 2026. The summer is going to be tough and whatnot, especially with Kick and all of the revolting and everything that's going on over there. So he's going to need something huge leading into the holidays. And those are his only two options. You know what I'm saying? I don't see him going to lolcow unless he can somehow buck break wings, and he hasn't successfully done that yet. And he'll never get the LTG collab. That's never gonna happen. And so I think he's gonna still keep fighting for it. He's still gonna fight very, very hard for that BBC, but he's never gonna get it. So those are my thoughts on that, but we're gonna listen to what his 2026 ideas are. We'll see what that is. As it pertains to detractors misrepresenting his content or whatever, I mean, it's whatever. At the end of the day, it's still him. It's still him saying and doing the dumb shit or whatnot, whether the thumbnail is kind of wacky, whether the title is complete utter bullshit, or whatever the case may be. If those people keep coming back to it, then that's what actually represents you. It's not what's initially front face, it's what's actually in the content. The fact that DSP still doesn't see that is kind of hilarious. But even more importantly than that, ladies and gentlemen, if detractors misrepresent your content, then why is DSP emulating it with his own, edited content, aka troll content? If that's really the case, I mean, that's an honest question. If it's all just terrible content, it's all misrepresentation, it's all slander, you know what I'm saying? It's all defamation, right? Then why are you trying to copy it? Why are you trying to emulate it? Why are you trying to make it your own? Food for thought. In any case, I won't hold you guys off any longer. Let's go ahead and get into our clip, shall we? So let's see here. Make sure I'm gonna keep my music on. I think I got it at the right levels. So
what is my biggest goal to achieve this?
All right. First things first, we give big ups to Raw Phil, big ups, and whatnot. And I think all my levels and everything are cool. And yeah, so like I said, big ups to Raw Phil. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get to our luau.
What is my biggest goal to achieve this year? I don't know if I have any set big milestone goal I'm looking to achieve this year.
No one said anything about a milestone, just a goal. Just the goal. And that's the thing. And I'm glad it starts off this way, because DSP really doesn't have any goals, because DSP doesn't think in the long term. You know what I'm saying? He looks at everything, no pun intended. There's a lot of pun intended. But he think of DSP's life as a video game level. A level one, if you will. Anyway, he treats life like it's just another level or a stage in a video game. And he's looking to complete the level, get his pat on the back or whatever, or on his baby backs, if you will, and then moving on to the next level. That's why everything he does has to have a payoff. It has to have a goal. It's the only thing he can do to keep himself motivated. You know what I'm saying? It really is. It's the only thing that puts one hoof in front of the other. I mean, outside of his trolls getting over and laughing and mocking him, of course, but that's just on the menu. So that's really what it comes down to. So he doesn't have any goals. He doesn't have any goals because he's scared that he won't achieve them, or he's scared that he doesn't look at it as, I've completed this goal, fantastic, now let me go to the next step. He looks at it as, okay, I finally completed this. What's my payoff? Where's my prize? Where's my goodies? Where's my gold star? That's what happens when you're reward driven. And you could say in the real world, there's a lot of people like that, right? But you know what I'm saying? You have to set real goals for real payoffs, right? DSP doesn't have that. He doesn't live in our world. He doesn't live in our reality and whatnot. In his little Gouty Pee-wee playhouse and whatnot, the next gold star, the next pat on the back, the next little treat bag or whatever, and then you just keep it pushing. And that's what DSP is. And that's why when he stopped the goal system, that's why DSP tries became more frequent. That's why when the goal system stopped, that's why we went ahead and, well, let's start going ahead and doing marathons maybe once a month, and then I'll drink. You don't have to pay me to drink. You know, I'm gonna drink my little watered down, lightweight, you know what I'm saying, light in the ass bullshit. But if you guys want me to take shots, you still gotta pay $100 on that. You know what I'm saying? And whatnot. But I'll drink this other stuff just to get myself buzzed. You see what I'm saying? Same concept. Exact same concept.
Here.
And because of that right there, and just in case you guys haven't thought about it, that's what directly infects it does infect it, but influence his spending, because he always believes that the next bag will lead to the next payoff. $300 this stream, the next stream he'll bitch and complain, hey, we didn't hit the goal. I'm sorry, we didn't hit the goal, but we didn't have a good stream. We don't have goals, but we didn't have a good stream. Oh, well, you got $300 on the night stream. Why are you bitching about this now? How am I supposed to stay in business if I don't hit, you know what I'm saying, if I don't have good streams? Okay, then what's the stream goal then? We don't have stream goals. Then what's the amount that's needed then for you to have a good stream? And then everything, all the snorts go silent. You know what I'm saying? It just has to be this phantom number, this phantom amount. But we all know it's just $150. We know that.
What is my biggest goal to achieve this year? I don't know if I have any set, like, big milestone goal I'm looking to achieve this year. Obviously, as you've noticed this year, I haven't just sat around doing nothing or doing the same thing. I've tried quite a few different things since this year started, right? New equipment and setup changes, tweaks to certain things, trying occasionally.
What do you mean trying new things? You're getting new equipment and all that was supposed to better the stream, which in turn was supposed to better the content. That's the point of that. That shouldn't necessarily be a goal. I mean, you wanting to improve your setup so you can put out better content, I get that. But he's making it seem like that's just like a big thing, like he ain't just ran a marathon or some shit. That's not how that was meant to go at all. And if anything, everything that he has, his whole aesthetics, if you will, the ambiance, if you will, benefits him. Not the stream and not the content. It just benefits him. It makes him feel important. It validates his existence, and what he does is worthwhile, even when people on the stream, the kick chat in particular, but even if the stream itself doesn't give him that acknowledgement. That doesn't better the content. The content's what's supposedly paying the bills, not the begging. The content is what's supposed to be paying the bills, not the begging. Allegedly. It's all semantics to me.
New projects, new kind of things. And that continues. You know, when I see an opportunity, I jump on it and try to see if I can make it work. It doesn't always work. I mean, notably, the biggest thing, obviously, right now is me trying to get my channel noticed in the algorithm at least once or twice. So hopefully I'll get some kind of a crossover.
What do you mean once or twice? What is that going to achieve? And then realistically, the one main goal that he has each and every year, and he will until he hits it, is hitting $3,000 or more on a single stream, so he can finally break away from the shackles, the enslavement, if you will, of Kino Casino. That's what's really hanging over his head, and he needs that next big crossover event, if you will, He needs to hit the algorithm once or twice and hope to get that, you know, crossover audience or whatever the case may be to achieve that. See, he's just going to go ahead and feed you bullshit, but I'll just go ahead and break it down and break the shit down into subtitles and shit. That's what he's looking for. The real goal, until he finally hits it, so for however many years it's going to take, is getting $3,000+ on a single stream, all by himself. He's a big boy now, or big pig now, whatever. That's what he's looking for. And it's crazy that this mentally stunted individual, that's what's being held over his head. He'll never feel like he's equal to Kino Casino, not that he ever will be, but he'll never feel that he's equal to Kino Casino until he hits that milestone. That's what's really hurting him. That's what's really keeping him up at night. That's what's really bothering him. And he knows it. And the thing is, Kino Casino aren't thinking about that shit. That's long gone. They don't care about that shit. I mean, I'm sure they care about the money they lost on this piece of garbage, but they're not thinking about that $3,000 on the stream that Phil made with them. You know what I'm saying? Or Phil's walkaway money, if you will. They're not thinking about that shit. They don't even care. You know what I'm saying? But DSP do. Something about.
And get some new viewers. But that's incredibly hard if you haven't noticed. Because the thing that always got me all of these years, the thing that got me is that people would say, oh, Phil, the reason that DSP Gaming doesn't grow is because you just do raw gameplay. You do your live.
No. The first reason that people gave on why DSP Gaming doesn't grow is that he put it out so much slop content that it would flood their fucking sub boxes. I want you to think about this for those of you who know. I don't mean to patronize any of you or anything like that. I understand I'm preaching to the choir, but we're talking about 50 to 60 vids a day. And then it took him some years to drop it down to 30 a day. I want you to think about that. Imagine you getting 60 videos from Duty a day, for those of you who are Duty watchers. Imagine that. 60 of them. Now, I wouldn't mind personally getting like 3 or 4 videos from Snort every day. I personally wouldn't mind that, but I do understand why they only do 2. But imagine getting 60 videos from anybody, truth be told. That's beyond barbaric. You know what I'm saying? That's sacrilegious. You know, from a YouTube standpoint. That's why he didn't grow. That's why he didn't grow in those formative years. And theoretically, the years when he was quote unquote at his peak. So from basically when he started till about, I'd say his real run was from probably like 2011 to like 2013. Maybe you could give him a little bit of 2014. That was probably his run. And he was swamping the system with bullshit. And he didn't care that no one was subbing because the views were there until they weren't. So he can sit here and say, oh, because you do raw footage, that's all part of it. Yes, absolutely. But the finished, quote unquote, the finished product, what was being, sent out to the consumers, what was being put into the marketplace, it was garbage and it was slop. And no one wanted to sub to that. They might watch a little bit of it, but no one wanted to sub to that. And that's what actually hinders him. He'll never admit that, but that's what actually is. That's like the driving force on what ended up killing DSP as a brand, to be honest with you.
Stream, and then you do your raw gameplay video playthrough. You don't do edited content, right? Like, that's the reason. Everyone's so used to edited content that narrows it down to just the highlights. That's why so many people go check out your detractors, because they're cutting down your content. Like,
keep in mind though too, the very people who asked him to do edited content, he said he basically was shit on them for having short attention spans, and basically said that they were losers for not appreciating what he did. On top of that, most of you may have forgotten this. I know I would have if I didn't actually think about it. DSP wanted to be the last holdout when it came to raw, unedited content. While everybody was migrating over to edited content, compilations, whether funny, fails, all that bullshit. Not bullshit, but you know what I mean? All those things. He was like, no, I'm going to be the last man standing for raw content, because there'll always be someone who will want that. Well, first things first, he wasn't last man standing. There's a bunch of channels who still do raw content like that, whether with commentary or without, but they cut out the bullshit. You cut out some of the travel time. You cut out the fails and all the extra deaths. You get rid of the excess weight. You cut the fat. but DSP didn't want to do that. So when DSP tries to tell you about edited content, he forgets, in context, he forgets when people were like, hey, if you're not going to do just strictly edited content, can you cut out some of the deaths? Can you cut out some of the bullshit, you know, travel time? Can you get rid of this dead weight? Now remember, this is the same Mongoloid who told you, oh, well, I had to fill, you know, I was so stressed out and I was so, you know, fed up with having to fill in dead spaces during my playthroughs. You mean those same dead spaces that you could have just edited out? Think about that.
Yeah, they are, but they're cutting it down to the toxic negative stuff. They don't actually accurately highlight everything I'm doing on a stream. They conveniently cut out anything positive and good, and only...
If that's the case, then keep your original stream up then and stop being a bitch. Outside of that, anybody who watches, you know what I'm saying, your Snortburnells, your Snort Hogans, your Memologies, your Mighty D's, whoever, they don't need to see all this extra bullshit in between. All that dead weight, all that dead air. No one wants any of that. So they cut that shit out. I mean, theoretically, DSP owes them a service. Or he owes them a favor, I should say. He should be thankful to them. Because they gave him the blueprint on how to do all this shit. I mean, obviously, it's many years too late. And it wouldn't benefit him even if he took the advice. But still, he did it to himself. There is no raw experience, right? There is no real quality content or meaningful content watching this Mongoloid fucking fail at the same boss for an hour and then bitch and complain about controls and shit. No, the reason why the negative type of clips, the fucking gamer journalist clips, not only exist but persist, if you will, and become in some cases the status quo, is basically you had to, if you want lemonade, you had to work with whatever lemons that you had, and that's what they did. And he fails so frequently, so often, so consistently that it made it easy to spotlight it. And that's where the amusement was. But truth be told, that was established from Evil AJ back in the day. Big ups. So what are you saying? Nothing's being misrepresented. You're bad at what you do. And the only reason why that you actually succeed in a particular game on a particular level or stage is be either A, you fumbled into it, B, or someone handheld you through it, or C, you ran your head through the fucking wall until the fucking wall gave you sympathy and allowed you to break through. End of story. There's nothing endearing about any of that. You're a fucking monkey. You literally are you're the proverbial monkey who's drinking its own piss in the corner and shit. And flinging feces at everybody who laughs and mocks you. That's all you are. And you're mad that that's what the representation is. And you can't do anything to fucking stop it. You could try to be a better gamer. Now you're too old and you're too stupid for that. It's not even an age thing, really. It's not even that he's even too old. He's just too stupid. He's too set in his ways. He's too regimented in what he does. The reality is this, ladies and gentlemen, the reason why DSP fails the way he does is because he's comfortable failing the way he does. The reason why DSP is comfortable or reacts the way he reacts to the ridicule and the mocking and whatnot that he gets is because he's used to it. And he's used to retaliating in the way he does. It's all been regimented. It's all done the way it is. It's all absorbed and perceived the way it is because he's comfortable with it. He can't stop it, so he made it a routine. That's what it really comes down to. And deep down, he might hate it. He may despise it, but he can't do anything to stop it. So trying to take people down, trying to sue and all that, it's nothing. It means it's all empty threats for the most part. And as DSP has said plenty of times, those people will just come back. And that's just another notch against him. And seeing what happened with the quartering as of late, because there's rumors going around that Gundam did a video. I actually did a video on that. Allegedly Gundam did a video, and the video got about DSP, and the video got struck down. I don't know if that's really the case. I just went off what DSP said. If that is true, somehow, some way, that could be linked back to DSP. If he didn't do it, it doesn't matter because he'll still take the blame for it. So he's fucked if he does it, and he's fucked if he don't. And that's why he would rather not do anything.
Only we'll try to highlight the bad. But I do get what you're saying, that people want a more streamlined experience in general. Not the common person does not want to sit there and watch a 4 to 5 hour Raw stream. And the common person doesn't want to sit there and watch the entirety of the playthrough with the boring parts in it. They want to see highlights.
And he doesn't even want to sit through his own content to cut that shit out. So whoever he's sending it to, Darksydephil or whoever the fuck, they're going to have to slave away at that shit. And even then, that must get on their nerves after a while.
Right? So after all these years of everyone saying, do highlights, and I said, all right, I'll finally do them. I'm at a situation where, yeah, I can afford to hire someone to do it. And they could probably...
Why couldn't you just get Kat to do it? Why can't Kat just go... She has her own PC. Why don't she sit down, download your stream, cut out all the dead air, and then post it? And that same thing could have gone for Panda. He could have had Panda do this shit back then. She made content. And that's the thing, too. That's which I've always found it strange. He's had 2 women in his life that he poached from his own viewer base, right? And he could have had either one of them, if not both of them, actually edit content for him at one time or another and never thought about doing it. It's almost like he didn't want them to know how bad his content really was. But Panda knew, because Panda was in the thick of it. So what are you hiding from Kat? Does Kat know about all the begging and all the eat, take a spoon and eat this shit out your ass and all the silly shit and whatever? Or are you scared that when you were throwing shots at her weight, that she might actually pick up on it? Or some of the other sly shit you like to throw out there. Or slick shit, I should say. That you like to toss out there. It makes you think. You literally have another person in that house that used to make content and used to stream. And you never asked them a question about any of it. Why? Is it because you might inspire Kat to actually go back to making content again? That she might actually do a tell-all one day on what's gonna on what it was really like dealing with your ass? If she outlives you, of course. Just throwing it out there. I'm just asking. Asking for a friend.
To put out 1 or 2 a week, and we'll leave that as the highlighted video on the channel. And we'll see what happens, right? In 1 month of doing it, if you haven't noticed, has there been an increase of views on the channel? There's been a little bit. I would argue all the videos that I did this past month, they're the most viewed videos I have on the channel, right? All the highlight videos are by far the most viewed
But that didn't translate to the other content though, and it didn't actually improve the streamer viewer count. So no, you didn't benefit from any of it. People watched the highlighted content, then dipped. And if I remember correctly, don't worry, I'm going to do that video. I think Diggs is already working on it. I think DSP had admitted that the average view time for that edited content, and probably for his content as a whole, is about 5 minutes. So imagine you putting out a 45-minute video, right? Because most of DSP's edited content was long in the teeth or in the fucking snout, and only people watched 5 minutes of it. They got past 1 snort sack, and they were done. That's why he was running around crying and complaining about how those edited videos aren't making him any money. He doesn't have the watch time to warrant it. Getting 20,000 views on a 30-minute video doesn't mean much if people can't get through 5 minutes of it. Makes you think.
Videos, but they haven't made me any money. I don't think that they're really bringing in much of a new viewer base. I think it's much like with YouTube Shorts. The people who are going to...
He shouldn't have given up on YouTube Shorts. He should have stuck with it. But because he didn't get instant satisfaction, because DSP needs instant gratification, he gave up on it just like anything else, and it failed. And he got a lot of views on those things. I mean, it doesn't mean anything from a financial standpoint unless you're making millions and millions of views on those things. But it was pretty good publicity for the channel. It was at least out there. Not in the algorithm per se, but they were at least floating out there. Completely squandered that shit.
Come in and watch these highlight videos, want more highlight videos. They're not going to come in to watch the highlight video and be like, oh, now I'm going to watch a 5-hour Raw live stream. They're going to be like, when's the next highlight?
Well, they can't even get through the highlight video, so why would they stay for any of it? You answered your own question.
You see?
And the fact that he won't, and he's just admitted that they're not making him any money, but he won't tell you why they're not making him any money. I love how we're completely and utterly sidestepping that part.
So that's like my goal this year is stick with it, continue to try to be pertinent with certain kinds of gaming topics and the like. Keep making...
That doesn't even matter because like the internet doesn't stop. The internet's 24/7. So you'll never, like outside of maybe like a day or so, and not even then that doesn't matter because you have to build up a reservoir for that. You have to build up a dam for that shit. You kind of have to build up a reputation for that shit. DSP is known for just bashing games, bashing game companies, bashing the people who work. No one wants to hear that shit. No one wants to hear that shit. You know what I'm saying? They really don't. You know what I'm saying? You would think for the hate boners that he has, he would go after the FGC more. There's plenty of news out there, right? He watches Ernesto clearly because he wants to be on top of whenever his name comes up. But yet he doesn't talk about any of that FGC drama that's going on. Why not? But you want Justin or Max or SJam or Dial-A-Phone, or you want someone with prestige, James Chen. You want one of these guys to have an interview with you, and then you're willing to blow the lid off of all the drama from back in the day. Why don't you just pick one of the random times there's FGC drama and apply yourself to that? Oh, he can't. He can't. Because he might get caught up in a lie that he can't walk back. Okay.
In these highlight videos, all right, and essentially,
and that's another reason why I don't think Ernesto or any of those other guys are interested in talking to him. Ernesto said he would be willing to, but I don't think he really wants to, because look at what happened with side scrollers. If you're willing to lie to two people for 5+ hours straight, you'll lie to anybody for any period of time, to be honest. No one has time for that. Ain't no one got time for that.
try to get this channel into the algorithm in some capacity. At one point, it was working. Like, I was noticing people coming by and leaving comments on my videos like, oh my God, I was recommended this video in the algorithm today. I can't believe it. But the problem is, it's just...
But that was the viewership you already had. And then more importantly than that, most of those comments are being withheld anyway until approval. And DSP doesn't want to sit through most of that shit. That's why back when he was doing the React content, it would take people 2 or 3 days to finally see their comment come up under the video, because DSP was stalling until he could approve them. No one gives a fuck.
This hasn't been common. It happened a couple times, a few times, then it's like, and then it stops. So I got to stay with it. I think as we get further into the year, more gaming, big high profile gaming stuff is happening. Maybe then, you know, I guess we'll have to see. Tarantula says, why don't you look at the Steam controller reviews from other channels that did well in the algorithm so you can see what works well nowadays?
Because then he has to see his failure thrown up into his own face. That's why he's about to toss an excuse at you instead of saying, okay, that might be a fair point. Because if you want to improve, you should watch, you know, well, they're not his peers, but you should watch people who are succeeding and see what they're doing. Because DSP is going to just copy paste anyway. So, you know what I'm saying? So what's the problem? But the reality is, when it comes to bigger channels, when it comes to more successful content creators, he doesn't want his own failure to be shown back up at him. He doesn't want to look at their setups, their layouts, and how clean that is, how functional it is, to be honest with you, how practical it is, and have to look at his own little fucking ghetto ass fucking spoiled child setup and be like, what the hell? Like, when you look at some of these guys who do like setup videos or do unboxings for tech, it's a nice clean setup. It's usually a nice wooden table or a glass desk or a glass table. They don't have the LGBTs and all this weird ass shit. They got practical stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? They got practical stuff. It's nice, it's clean, it's modern. Now the background may be a bit more aesthetically inclined based on that person's personality, right? That really may tell you what the ambiance is, but it doesn't look like this. It doesn't look like this gouty Pee-wee's Playhouse Predator bullshit. Grooming fucking horror house shit. It doesn't look like that. DSP is legitimately a poser compared to other people in the field, in the trenches. And he knows that. And he doesn't want to see it. And more importantly, he can't copy. He can't really emulate it. He may be able to copy it, but he can't emulate it. Because if you can emulate something, then you have at least some understanding of it. DSP don't. He doesn't want to understand. He just wants success.
Well, because you want to know, you ready? Number one, the
look at struggling. Here, let me hear it again. But like struggling. Get that shit out.
Did well in the algorithm so you can see what works well nowadays. Well, because you want to know, you ready? Number one, the videos that did the app.
Oh shit! What the fuck? Man, Philly might need to update that RAM, son. That CPU might need to get checked. That Oh, that CPU might need to get checked out. Boy, you about to have a stroke or some shit? What's wrong with you?
So you can see what works well nowadays. Well, because you want to know. You ready? Number one, the videos
that shit is hilarious. I don't care. I don't care what any of y'all think. I don't care if you think that's me being cruel or whatever. That shit's funny. That shit's funny. That shit is giving me flashbacks of King Cobra when he used to kind of get riled up and he was trying to explain himself and he system rebooted type shit until he could get himself going. It reminds me of that. And that's not a very good sign because Cobra was in a bad spot, you know, for a while leading up to his death, unfortunately. So that's not a good sign, Phil. That's not a good sign at all. Womp womp. But, you know, go ahead and give the thumbs up for it, though, Phil. Good job. I'm sure Chuck Norris would approve. RIP to Chuck Norris.
The absolute best have nothing to do with the actual Steam controller. They have to do with the fact that it sold out right away and the scalpers got them all. Like, no exaggeration, those are the videos that did numbers.
So because these guys were able to get it before you could by apparently illicit or underhanded means, and they were able to put their content out first, that's why they were able to succeed. So not because of the merit that these content creators have built over the years, their track record of success and trust, right? And people really believing in them or valuing their opinion or whatever. None of that. It's because, hey, they must have been able to get theirs for free, or someone, you know, slid it to them, or they bought it from a scalper or whatever. And then the market got basically chokehold, and it took a while for everybody else to get it. And that's the reason why they beat. That's pretty sad. That's pretty sad that Mr. Meaningful and mindful and not harmful content creator, being Phil, won't give someone else their flowers. Because no one can be as honest as Darksydephil, right? Right? Right.
Not videos on the actual Steam controller itself, but the controversy around how the pre-ordering failed, how, you know, Valve kind of dropped the ball, and how scalpers are selling them for $300, $400 on eBay. Those are the videos that did the views. Okay, that's number one. Number two, the other group of videos that did views are people who got the controller early because Valve gave them one early because they're influencers.
Told you. Told you. It's a good thing Phil don't actually play poker or blackjack, at least not with me, because you got a bunch of tells, boy. You got a bunch of tells, boy.
I'm not that. So I don't have that advantage. I can't get the early, so I get the earlier video and get views. And I
can understand why people called him a monkey spank back in the day, because I could smell the monkey piss on his breath from here. Jesus Christ, it's crazy, son. It's crazy.
I don't do a drama video about it either. I made an actual video reviewing the controller. I was never going to have that advantage of the people who actually did numbers.
So then why are you complaining about it then? Why are you crying and complaining about the whole shit? If you could never compete, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Why bitch and complain about a situation where, you know, you can't compete where you don't compare? That doesn't make any sense. So he's basically low-key admitting, I was wasting your guys' time. I was never going to be able to compete with those guys, so I didn't do anything wrong. So I have no reason to watch their content, despite the fact that he did watch their content, if he was able to categorize that there were two separate groups. And yeah, fuck you. I mean, that's pretty much what he said, for under reasonable circumstances. The music sucks, man. Well, not all of it. Some of it's alright, I guess. Whatever. Sometime today, Philip. Sometime today.
I agree. Okay, Ivy says, I think you should keep doing random commentary rant videos like the mixtape video. Easy to package and showcases your personality. I agree. I have to try to stay on the trends of what people are...
Why? He didn't get any views on that shit. So why would that matter? And no one wants to hear him rant. Well, people want to hear him rant about it, but you'll just go to a detractor video for that. Why go to him? It's not even a matter of a detractor will get it out first. It's why would you go to DSP's video when you could just watch a detractor video? Where it's going to be way more fun. You know what I'm saying? And you're going to have way more freedom. You know what I'm saying? If you want to keep going to Snort Korea and dealing with that bullshit, you can. But, I mean, what point, you know, what's the point of doing that?
Talking about, you know, right now, in regards to this stuff, if there's new gaming news, I should try to jump on it and cover it and then make a highlight of it. I'm down with that. Right now, there's really nothing. The biggest topic of the weekend was Forza Horizon 6. But like I said, it was basically everyone got it early because they gave it to literally...
Yeah, see, here's the thing. I've already said this in a... It's not out yet, well, at the time that I'm recording it, the video then in particular is not out yet. But it's very clear that, one, he didn't want to play Forza because he didn't want to, Forza Horizon because he didn't want to look stupid on the steering wheel. Even though the meme currently is that he actually sold the steering wheel because he was broke. Or he returned it, if you will. I don't know. He played it for, he had it for so many damn months. I don't know, unless he broke it somehow. But who could say? His whole story about it being in his closet under 2 different bins, and it's going to take him 30 minutes or something. He was very particular about the number. It would take him 30 minutes to fish it out. This doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. But the reality is that, one, he just didn't want to play Forza because he couldn't get it early. Even though I heard Almighty Tevin did, praise be. I'm not sure if Tevin got that free trip to Japan for a week and all that stuff. That'd be cool. And what? Speaking of which, actually, I have that coming up. DSP literally said that someone asked him, well, wait, if you were gonna get a free copy, not a free copy, I'm sorry, if you would have gotten the opportunity to get flown out to play Forza early in Japan, would you? And he says, nope. I'm gonna go out there. I'm gonna miss a week of streaming, and then I'm just gonna go out there to play a game, and that's it. So wait a second. You weren't gonna take the opportunity to take your wife on a vacation, a legitimate honeymoon, because you could just wrap that all up into a honeymoon-like situation. You wouldn't do that. You wouldn't actually make content while you're out there. You wouldn't have gone out. You're out there for a week. You're not gonna go out there. You're not gonna see the sights. You're not gonna film any vlog. You're in a whole nother country. Not to say that there aren't detractors in Japan. I'm just saying. You're not gonna go to you don't want to vlog any of that shit. Fuck ass clown. You could stream when you're back in your hotel room. This mongoloid completely pissed that all away because he's angry because he didn't get himself a fucking free copy or whatever the fuck. So it comes down to he would have embarrassed himself if he played it, and he didn't want to get the wheel, and he's mad that he got excluded and he didn't get a free copy. But why would he? Why would they give him a free copy? To be honest. And that game is doing numbers, and it will continue to do numbers, but why Darksydephil? Who's gonna think about him for that? You know what I'm saying? No one wants to fucking show some incompetent buffoon fucking crashing, you know, every fucking 5 to 10 fucking kilometers and shit in that game at fucking 80 miles per hour. Fuck all that bullshit. You want people that are going to bring in real numbers, who are going to get real eyes on it. So his little story about they saturated the market, they ruined the story, they ruined everything and whatever. First off, you're not a car enthusiast. Not to say that you have to be one to like racing games, but alas, that's usually who gravitates towards car racing games and games that are revolving around car enthusiasts. This idiot can barely change a tire. You know what I'm saying? The fuck? So why would they go to him? The guy's too scared to drive an IRL. So why would you go to him? The dude can't pull views. So why would you go to him? There are certain games, and I firmly believe this, there are games that I know that he gets for free. I'm absolutely confident in it. But not Forza. They're not going to give him that shit. He's not going to get Grand Theft Auto early either. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to say much of anything else. But there's definitely going to be advanced copies of Grand Theft Auto that are going to go out there. And he's definitely not going to be anywhere on that list. He's going to be big mad about that. But is he going to skip that title? You know what I'm saying? Is EA or fucking Rockstar, is Rockstar gonna shit the bed by not sending him an early copy and spoil the game for him when everybody else gets the game early and starts playing that shit? Think about it. Don't think about it. It's not that serious. Don't think about it. It's not that serious.
Every influencer out there who does any kind of gaming, and the influencers basically spoil the entirety of the game for the internet, including all the big surprises and silly things, and basically the game's been memed to death. There's not much I can really do with that for content. You know what I'm saying? Like, all I could have done is gone on Twitter and shown you the game. Big deal. I'm going to play it on Tuesday anyway, so what's the point? Right? So that's what's going on with gaming news right now. When more happens this week, perhaps I have more interesting stuff to cover. Super Bonchon, shut up. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay, real quick. I don't know where I was muted. Basically, what I think is my thought process is, as it pertains to the I really think I may have messed that up. As it pertains to his biggest goal of the year, if you will, is it's about just getting the $3,000 on a single stream all by himself. So this way he can get that Kino Casino monkey off his back. As it pertains to detractors, trolls, haters, and critics misrepresenting his content, it really just comes down to, outside of what detractors do, it really comes down, I think what you see is what you get. And so I think everybody is doing exactly what they should do based on what you give. You know what I'm saying? What you put out there is what's represented. And end of story. That's what the reality is on that. And as it pertains to him crying and complaining about the situation with Forza Horizon, I think it really just comes down to the fact that he's mad that he was excluded from the early copies. I think he's really hurt by that. We'll circle back on that in a minute. He also realizes that he's going to be mocked if he gets onto that steering wheel and his reaction time isn't there. He's going to spin out a bunch of times. He's going to blame it on the steering wheel. And he's just going to look stupid doing that shit. The last thing you need is, I think it's a Logitech steering wheel, by the way. The last thing you need is Logitech coming up on their Twitter and putting up a DSP meme and say, hey, nothing we can do. He don't need that and whatnot, on top of all the memes that you're going to see on Twitter and Instagram and on TikTok for the gamer journalist thing. I think he really just tried to avoid that. Circling back around, I think he is hurt that he didn't get a copy. And my reasoning for that is the Asmongold interview. He was literally up there with one of the biggest streamers on the planet, and he still can't get a look for a big AAA release, And I think he's pissed off, and I think he's hurt. And I think that's why the new Batman Legos game was his cope. You know what I mean? And it's a pathetic cope, to be honest with you, but I think that's his cope. I think he's legitimately hurt that he was overlooked. How is it that, this is him saying this, how is it that I was literally on one of the biggest streams at that particular time with one of the biggest streamers, and I can't get a look? But like I said, I think Tevin got himself a free copy, big ups. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's gonna be crazy. And when Grand Theft Auto falls, or when it drops, I should say, I don't think he's gonna get a look there either. He's gonna be big mad about that shit. He's gonna be big mad. I think he really believed that Asmongold was gonna open up doors beyond that stimulus package. When Grand Theft Auto drops, I won't be surprised if Asmongold gets a free copy and gets it early. Same thing with XQC. Same thing with Burnt Peanut. You know what I'm saying? Like the usual suspects. They're all probably going to get advanced copies, or they're definitely going to get free copies. And they're going to play that shit up, and they're going to make themselves a boatload of money. And DSP's not going to get anything. So just because someone gave you charity fill and allowed your ass to sit at the table for however brief it was, doesn't mean that you're going to see long-term residuals from it. And it's very clear that you did. Good luck with that. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening in. This has been, I'll name the segment later, GTG Spits That Grease, so on and so forth. Sorry about that whole muted thing. It will get cleaned up in post. And get cleaned up in post. And take care of yourselves, people. And remember, lol cows are lol cows for a reason. Don't feel any sympathy for them. It's part of the trap. Later, people.